All right, the breaking news Friday. Georgia not picked to win the SEC championship this year. First time ever someone other than the Power Six from the SEC, and first time ever that someone isn't an expansion team has come in to be picked by the media to win the conference. Texas picked not narrowly, probably 2-1 margin over Georgia. Not as decisive as last year, Georgia being picked over Texas and Alabama, but Texas picked over the Dogs. I think, I don't vote in these anymore, and I'll explain to you why in a little bit. It's not because I'm too good. Part of it's because I'm too busy, but part of it's because it's so ridiculous, is what I'll get to. But I think this is probably right. If you're taking a step back and you're looking at everything, Texas probably should be favored. The betting markets favor them. BetMGM has got them favored. I think it's the right call for now. Let's go through the list real quick of where we're at. Texas as the 1, Georgia at the 2. This is who will play in it. Texas with 96, Georgia 44, Alabama 29. Then LSU, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and Florida with the same amount of votes. Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Auburn. This is why I don't vote right here. I'll highlight it. This is stupid. This is not happening. So I don't know why. This is something that folks that are there feel the obligation to do, but it's a consistent pattern, and it kind of just, I don't know. I love the majority of the reason why I don't vote is because I've run out of time, and this is a particularly busy week for me. As you can see, I'm on location in an undisclosed place this week, but I think the media's got it right in this case. That's who you should pick. I don't know that that's who should be expected to win it. I do think it's really a 4-team race with Texas, Bama, Georgia, and LSU. I think we're going to learn. So I was telling my wife's a big Clemson fan, and has been for her whole life. I was telling her just how big this Clemson LSU game is at the beginning of the season. Georgia doesn't have that. Texas, LSU, and Alabama, we're going to have a pretty good indication week 1 how good those teams are. We're going to have to wait a while on the Dogs. And that's the part that I think is, I wouldn't say disappointing to me, but it's just reality. I mean, if Georgia were playing Clemson this season in Atlanta, how much would they be favored by? They'd be favored by. How much would they be favored by? I mean, LSU is only a 3-point dog at Clemson. So if that game were in Atlanta, LSU would probably be a narrow favorite. So I like this. I think it's about right. I think the top 4 are certainly right. It is curious, Lenore Sellers was the pick over Garrett Nussmeier to be the SEC number 1 quarterback, and then Arch Manning at 3. It might not end up that way as your top 3. So this is the type of situation that we're in. I think on the defensive side of the ball, Georgia had multiple first-team players, 4. Christian Miller, C.J. Allen, K.J. Bolden, Dylan Everett. Those guys were all first-team defensive players. They did not have anybody after that. On the offensive side of the ball, Georgia had 3 total, and that was it, which was Oscar Delp, Nate Frazier at running back as the third team, Ernest Green as the third team. Oscar was the second team. Georgia did not have a single first-string offensive player for Mike Bobo and company to work with. No Gunnar Stockton on here at all. No receivers, which is, I mean, there are some really good receivers in the SEC, but I'm a little surprised they didn't get one. The other thing that was kind of curious, but correct probably, literally every single first-team specialist was a player from Georgia, which is, Brett Thorson, Peyton Woodring at kickoff and place kicker, Bo Gardner at long snapper. I don't know how that's determined other than guessing. And then Zachariah Branch as the all-purpose and the return specialist. I think that is actually the most correct of all of these things that we've got that was released today. But I will say this too. I like the fact that it's released after media days rather than on the final day. That used to be an old thing. But anyway, look, make sure signing up for our newsletter. I've been putting that on the screen quite a bit, and several people are, that's for sure. And but I don't think there's, is there motivation to be had with this entire thing? Not for me. I mean, look, you're not going to be the favorite every single season. Alabama has been favored since 2010. They have been favored 11 times to win the SEC championship. The only team that has been favored more than once in that time, Georgia, in 23 and 24. So Georgia's won the league far more often than they have been picked to win it. They've only been picked to win it 4 times in their history, okay, or 3 times, whatever it is, and they've won it. And since 1992, multiple times, more than 3 or 4. I know they were. Now I'm going to stop myself and correct myself. It was 2004, 2023. Yeah, they've only been picked 3 times to win the league since 1992. So we know they won it in 02, 05, 17, 22, 24. So multiple times. They've won it 5 times. I have it written right in front of me here, and yet I'm not reading it. And then Alabama's been picked by the media 11 times. They've been picked to win it 11 times since 2010. So we kind of front run in the media. I don't know if you picked up on that yet or not, but that's one thing we do. And I think in this case, Texas makes sense to me. You can pick up your riding home T-shirts today. Here they are on our buddies over there at Red Zone. People are ordering these. The first group of them are selling right now. So go run on down to Clayton Street. If you see us, it's cool. It's a neat little thing. My wife is shocked people will spend money on this. I'm not, but hey, I'm not a hater either. So there's that. I do love that we've got some things to talk about with this. I do think that the top 4 is correct. I think after that, I've got some buddies that are Kentucky folks. I have people that are, kind of buddies around the league these days. Kentucky, Mississippi State pulling in the last 2. It's rough, man. Arkansas, Vanderbilt. And for all of the discussion this week on SEC Live or whatever it is, and everybody's talking about Oklahoma, they were picked 10th. So no one's buying what y'all are selling on that front. I can't even remember who it was. I think it was Peter Burns and Chris Doering, but I think it was Peter Burns for sure. I don't remember if it was Chris Doering or not, but nobody's buying that, y'all. I mean, talking about how they're going to be better is one thing, but 3 people picked Oklahoma to win the league. I'll just tell you, I'll be shocked. I'd be straight up shocked if Oklahoma won the league. It's also curious, too. I wanted to touch on this as well when you look at the poll. Georgia plays the top 2 teams, and then the teams that they lost to a season ago, Alabama and Ole Miss. Ole Miss and Tennessee took a precipitous drop backwards. Tennessee picked 9th in the league. The Rebels at 7th, narrowly behind Florida, but still behind Florida. Tennessee, that's rough. So for Georgia, they will play the preseason 1, 3, 6, 7, 9, 11, and 16. So 1, 3, 6, 7, 9, 11, 15 and 16. So Georgia gets the top. Georgia's playing what you would have to describe as an extreme schedule. And whereas last year was pretty extreme as it relates to, the road travel, this time you're playing the top of the league and the bottom of the league. And you're not getting like this scattered look of things. That's a real bell curve situation there. That's for sure. You're basically playing the top 2 teams you can play, and then you're playing the bottom 2 teams that you could possibly play, but you're skipping, South Carolina, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Texas A&Ms of the world. Those are all gone. Georgia will. The way I understand it, the math, there's so much going on right now it's looking more and more like this is going to be an 8-game league next in 2026. it's looking more and more like that's going to be reality because of the college football playoff. But the way I understand it, the way that it was laid out to us, Oklahoma and Georgia have to play next year. I guess Georgia would go to Oklahoma. I guess that doesn't have to be the case. I'm assuming that, but and now I guess maybe LSU would come to Georgia. I don't know, but they'll drop. I'm assuming they will drop Alabama and Texas. I don't know that TV would be pumped up about that, but maybe they would make Alabama and Texas play one another. I don't know. Maybe you would see the return of South Carolina, Georgia. I know that South Carolina people could not be more eager for that to happen. But we're going to, Oklahoma, Georgia will happen. Texas, South Carolina will happen next year. After that, I think you are looking at 8-game. I think you're looking at Georgia people are going to lose their minds if they don't get Auburn in 2016 and then they play them again in 17 on the road. I don't think that will happen. But Auburn, Georgia would be on the chopping block. Alabama, Tennessee, etc. But I think what the SEC will do to get around that is say, we don't have a format because college football playoff cannot decide the format. And so we are going to say this is a 2-year situation, and we can't land the plane right now. That's the problem in college football is because of the situation in the college football playoff, as well as specifically college football playoff, the SEC is not going to land the plane on a 9-game schedule. And there's no reason to. So that's where we're at right now with all of it. I will say this. This is exactly what I thought these numbers would be. I'm very curious to see if the betting markets care. I don't think they will. We've seen a lot of movement in the betting markets lately. Seen Georgia fly up to the number 2 in terms of national championship and see them edge back down to 3 with the 4 coming closer. So it's movement time. That's what July is kind of like in college football. And we'll just see where we go from here. But Texas picked to win the SEC championship. You tell me what you think down below.